Full.
Welcome to my page and thank you for your interest. My first visit to Harden was in the spring of 1972 when I was working as a medical representative visiting over 300 doctors, including Doctors Hill and Dr. Hall in Harden and Dr. Shepherd in Murrumburra. It was at that time I first entertained the thought that one day I would live here. Some 40 years later, my dream has been fulfilled. I now reside in this very beautiful part of the world, great countryside in the hilltops, amongst a wonderful and caring community. My reasons for running for council at the September elections are many. However, one agenda very close to my heart is the big change I have observed in our Shire over the past 40 years. I must say that I am sad to see our town, like many other country towns I once visited regularly, are in a state of decline. Populations have decreased, businesses closed, and shops remain empty and going to ruin. This situation is not acceptable, and both state and Commonwealth governments have a lot to be accountable for in allowing this to happen. Whilst at the same time, places like Sydney have become overcrowded, polluted, and traffic congestion is at a breaking point. This predicament is in no way the fault of local councils. To a large degree, it has been out of their control. However, I believe there is room for improvement. I want to help Harden Shire Council action our problems. Those who know me know that I'm a big supporter of the Streetscape program for Harden. Make our towns more presentable, smarter, cleaner, splash some paint around. Look what has been achieved in Boorowa. Then promote this beautiful area and encourage more people to relocate here. Encourage more visitors. Encourage more people to live here, and guess what? The result will be increased activity and jobs will follow. We must become passionate and depict urgency in order to revitalise our community, and we need to do it now. That in part is what I'm about. I'm also saddened when I see healthy young school children by the hundreds, in school buses, on the sports field, walking to and from school, shopping downtown, and then when they leave school they simply disappear from our sight forever. Sad, very sad. Where do they go? They go almost without exception to towns and cities that offer them a future. It is time we woke up, big time. You see, the wonderful people of our Shire have children, give them a good education, and produce many of Australia's most talented, successful and healthy young adults, only to lose them and their future children to another economy. In other words, our loss is their gain. I want this to stop. If we don't address this serious problem, and address it now, our towns will simply decline at a faster rate than before and eventually die. I've listened to elderly people my age saying they like things as they are and do not want to change anything. Unfortunately, this is a very selfish attitude in my opinion, simply because we oldies will be leaving the planet sooner rather than later, and guess what? All the young folk will be living elsewhere. Harden Shire will be in the last throes of death, a death that could have been prevented. The old saying, without change there can be no growth. My decision to relocate to Harden Shire was fueled by many obvious advantages to live here. Please allow me to share with you some of the criteria that convinced me in no uncertain terms that this was the place to settle. Take for example, low housing costs, plenty of water when compared to larger cities, wonderful soil for the gardeners, one of the best medical centres in country Australia, a fine hospital with dedicated staff, the state-of-the-art Southern Cross St Lawrence apartments for the elderly. This was on the drawing board prior to my coming to live here. The best ambulance and fire services, access to South Care helicopter service, which is available in an emergency. We are ideally situated on the main lines linking Sydney with Melbourne. Fine schools, underutilised Olympic swimming pools and parks. We are about 90 minutes from Canberra, Goulburn and Wagga respectively, and the list goes on and on and on. So, why don't more people visit here, move here, stay and live here? I have already discussed some of my reasons. I want to give back plenty to the community that welcomed me to their world from day one with open arms. I want to make Harden Shire a better place to live for all of us. As the saying goes, Rome wasn't built in a day. However, look at it today. And yes, there was a time when Rome was much smaller when compared to our towns today. Until I'm elected to council, it is impossible to know what is achievable. However, if elected, I will be there punching for all of us, as hard as I can, regardless of whether you voted for me or not. I can assure all citizens that if I am elected as your humble representative to our council, that I will strive to do my very best, always. I will always be open to suggestions, and I will work hard for the betterment of our Shire and its people. My life has included living and working 36 years in Australian cities and 36 years in the bush. I grew up on my grandparents' property, 4 miles from Bungendore, sheep, cattle, wool and all the rest. Finally, living in Harden Shire just proves the often quoted proverb to be true, which states, "You can take the boy out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the boy." In my case, that is 100% true. I simply love Harden. I love Harden Shire, its people, its lifestyle. Put simply, I want to make a difference for the better. We have been very busy these past months, and I want to thank my campaign manager, Dr. Jennifer Rahman, Nina Horton, my official agent, and Dr. Aziz Lam, my advisor. A very special thank you to all my friends who have offered to man the poll booths on September the 8th, the Saturday we go to the pools. Please consider and vote one John Horton. Thank you.